Okay, welcome back. This is Harper's Bazaar, March 2020. So again, this is so cool. I love this image. We're going to start out on a really cool image. Heavily influenced here of The Graduate, I think 1967, Dustin Hoffman, right? So here we have either a gardener or, it's not a pool, he's not a pool boy, he's a gardener. But you can tell she's definitely teasing him, right? We have this poodle, right? But she's throwing his leg up to try to distract him from his work. Right, so you can imagine what kind of a tease that would be for this guy. He's trying to do his thing, and he's eyeballing this woman's leg, and you can only imagine what's running through his mind, right? I'll tell you, whatever he's thinking of, it ain't the gardening. I can guarantee you that. So now let's talk about this one for a while. This really warrants a lot of discussion. This is a long story, so let me try to set this up as well as I can. Let's cover the models. This is Utep Ukech. She's of Sudanese descent. Gigi Hadid, Kaya Gerber, Bella Hadid, and Imam Haman. Okay, so those are the models. Now, these outfits they're wearing, okay, these have really been usurped and in a really bad way. They've been misappropriated, and here's why. These outfits were part of a tribute to Picasso. It was a runway show held in September of 2019, and it was put on by a designer named Jeremy Scott. Jeremy Scott designed all these Picasso. What it was Picasso paintings and sketches and drawings that had been turned in. The paintings had been turned into dresses, actual outfits, right? And the models wore these on the runway, and it was fantastic. You can just do an internet search for Milan, Picasso, runway show, Jeremy Scott. If you put that string in there, you're going to get the hits, and you're going to see all the images from the runway show. So here's my point. That was a dedicated Picasso runway show. Now for Moschino, this is how it's pronounced, Moschino, they come up with this ad for this is supposed to be an 80s game show, right? And this is shot by Stephen Meisel. So first of all, there's only 3 grandmasters living, 3 grandmaster photographers. And in my opinion, it's Stephen Meisel, Patrick Demarchelier, and Camilla Ockrens. Now, they got Meisel to shoot this, and this is a horrible photo. So Meisel clearly phoned this one in, and I don't know why, because he is the best of the best, and this photograph is absolutely terrible. So what was on Meisel's mind when he came? I think he's at this stage, and this warrants some discussion. Meisel has been in the game well over 30 years now, and I think he's reached the same point as Annie Leibovitz. Annie Leibovitz is checked out years ago. Annie Leibovitz, to me, and I mean this in all sincerity, Annie Leibovitz hasn't taken a good image since 2008. That's how long she's been out of the game, okay? Susan Sontag passed away in 2004. I think that affected her very seriously. She stayed with it for 4 more years, and in about 2008, she just checked out. All of her work since 2008, she's been phoning in. My point is, it seems like Meisel has reached the same point in his career. He bought that mansion in Los Feliz, right? The Los Feliz area of Los Angeles. Maybe he's in a similar position as Annie Leibovitz, where he's extended himself too much financially, where he really wants to quit. Now he can't because he has too many financial obligations, so he's showing up for shoots and he's just phoning it in. That's my take. That's just my opinion. I'm not stating that as fact, because this is a horrible photograph, right? So what is Meisel doing? If he's really that bored behind the camera, if he's lost all inspiration, then just step out, bow out gracefully, instead of showing up on a set and just phoning it in, because this is completely phoned in. This is a horrible image. And secondly, maybe he had some problems with this maligning of these costumes, because maybe Meisel knew that this was supposed to be, right, a dedicated Picasso show. Somehow Moschino got a hold of these costumes, these outfits, and wanted them for this 80s game show, and they don't fit. This was dedicated to a Picasso specific runway show. They get misappropriated for this game show advertisement, and it's not working. This image is just not working, right? So I know I went very long with this, but it really requires some discussion because I've seen some work lately by Meisel. When his work with Marc Jacobs, I've seen some. Do you remember the two Harlequins? And I said it looks like 5 characters in search of an exit, the Twilight Zone episode. That was it was a pretty bad photograph. It was not inspiring at all. So my point is, Meisel's recent work sucks. There's no other way. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. He's a grandmaster and his recent work sucks. So what's up with Stephen Meisel? And again, I'm getting back to the point, Meisel, if he's tired, if he's like Annie Leibovitz, if he's checked out mentally, then just retire. Walk away gracefully. Okay, now this requires some discussion too. So I kind of like these episodes when you have when certain images require a lot of discussion. So we talked about Ralph Lauren, and it seems to me, again, I'm just way guessing on this. This is complete speculation on my part. The nature of his advertisements has changed drastically, a lot, in the last 2 to 3 months. Do you remember we talked about they're always either equestrian or nautical? He's off that. For the last 2 or 3 months, they've not been nautical and they've not been equestrian. They're these kind of retrospects. And I think, to me, what I think Ralph Lauren is signaling is he's sensing his own mortality and he wants to leave his legacy. Okay, so what's this? Right? He's setting himself up. If you look at this image after image with the sports car, this older Jaguar, right? This old, looks like a whatever, this piston-driven, maybe it's piston-driven airplane, right? This old Hollywood, we're getting back into a 1920s, 1930s Art Deco, right? So he's going back in time. This is 60s, right? This is 60s, this is 30s, right? You've got a water skier here. So he's setting himself up. This entire thing is like, remember Jethro Bodine, I'll never forget, he wanted to be a double naught spy on Beverly Hillbillies, right? Double naught meaning 00, right? 00, like James Bond was 007. So you have Ralph Lauren, he's trying to leave his legacy if he was a double naught spy in the terms of Jethro Bodine. And I'm not buying it. So even if Ralph Lauren is terminal, if he's received a prognosis, he's terminal, he has months to live, he's trying, maybe, possibly, and again, I'm way out on a limb here with this guess. He's trying to leave a legacy as a double naught spy, as some type of a tough guy. Because I'm not buying this. I'm just not. Ralph Lauren in these boxing gloves, as if he's some type of Paul Newman, right? He's trying to hearken here. He's trying to conjure Paul Newman and Cool Hand Luke, or Steve McQueen and Bullet, right? And it's not working. He's not Paul Newman and he's not Steve McQueen. So where in the hell is he taking this advertising? I don't know where he's taking this. Just at a complete loss. Okay, this is cool. We've talked about this before. Right, this Summer of Love 67 kind of has this, right, Timothy Leary type of, feel to it where, just check out, right? I've got tune in, tune out, turn, I don't know how it went, but, Timothy Leary, right, you know what I'm talking about, his okay, we've seen this before, Jürgen Teller with J-Lo on the High Line, Manhattan's West Side. Okay, it's wonderful work. Oh, and I did find out. So here's the thing. And I did owe you this. I did some research into this. I went to suncalc.org. This was taken in January of 2020. And obviously, we're looking north. This is 10th Avenue, and this is 30th Street. In New York, avenues run north and south, and streets run east and west. Okay, avenues, streets. So we're looking north, so this is an avenue. This is 10th, this is 30th Street. So we know we're looking north. So the way the sun is on a slightly, this type of an arc, right? Rises in the east, arcs, sets in the west. Now the shadows, I looked this up, and it's almost at 2 p.m. This image, I can tell by the shadows and by the time of year, this image was taken approximately 2 p.m. But it's close in January. The length of day is so short. So I think sunset was at 4:30. So this was almost before sunset, right? So it's not golden. This is not a golden light. But look, it's a winter light, it's a winter sun, and it's soft. And Jürgen Teller used this to his advantage, right? Because it is a winter sun. It's a much more pleasant, diffused sun, softer sun than a summer sun. And you can tell all these colors are just popping. Now, these might have been tweaked a little in post. You might have pulled vibrance or saturation a little in post. But for the most part, right, these are real colors. These are real rich colors afforded by a winter light. But again, I owed you that I tracked this down. It's about a 2 p.m. This was taken at about 2 p.m. and sunset was about 4:30. So that's why I said this was a pleasant light, because it was either a morning or an evening, air quotes, evening before sunset. But it was, anyway, Jürgen Teller did an awesome job on this photography. See, this is what I was talking about. I didn't even realize this was coming up. So this is Meisel's work from Marc Jacobs. Where in the hell is Meisel taking this? What the hell is this about? Right? With these, right? Almost like a court jester. Do you remember a court jester or a harlequin? Right? I mean, this. Obviously, this is not a. I would certainly hope that this is not a line offered by Marc Jacobs. He's not offering this as a line, because this would be. This looks to be almost right, the antebellum South. Okay, this would be 1860s Southern United States, and I'm sure he's not offering this as an upcoming line in his collection. And we saw definitely the Harlequins from last month. That was certainly not a line in his collection. So what the hell is this about? That's what I'm not understanding about Meisel. I mean, where is his mind? What is going on in Meisel's life that he's derailing to this level? Because Meisel is derailing. There's no question about it. So what the hell is going on in his life? Okay, where are we at? 12 minutes? Blur. Okay, nonsense. We've seen this one many times before. Chanel. This is Margot Robbie, completely out of focus. And I mean complete. There is nothing in this photograph that's in focus. How in the world did this go to print? I will never figure that one out. Well, I mean, what was the point of this? Right? Usually you get the near eye. So in this photo, even if the photographer wanted to use f1.2, or if he had this boutique f0.95 lens, this monster piece of glass, it's this big, right? And you still grab the left eye, the near eye. And everything else is blown out, but at least get the left eye in focus, the near eye, I should say. And in this case, it is the left eye. But here, even if he's using a boutique f0.95 lens, it's completely, there's no focus. Nothing is in focus. So what's the point? This is a beautiful photo. I love this wild hair. This, it's right, it's a harsh shadow, but I can live with it. I know it's done for artistic purposes. This image is just working. Quite a nice image. Okay, we're getting back to this British khaki, right? Again, Melania Trump went to Kenya, got her ass kicked for it, but yet now it's 18 months later, whatever, 16 months later, it's all the rage. Okay, this is quite nice. That looks like a Camilla Akron shot, right? You can tell Camilla Akron's always has this. She always has this deep blue sky. I think that's one of the trademarks of Camilla Akron's. Her sky is always a very deep blue. The way she, the way she sets up her camera. I don't really think this is done too much in post. There's a way to do it, and you know what I mean, without going into a lot of detail on it. But I think that's what she's doing, and I think this is Camilla Akron's work, and it's just absolutely beautiful photograph. Again, Camilla Akron's is only one of 3 current grandmasters: Stephen Meisel, Patrick Demarchelier, and Camilla Akron's. There's a lot of photographers out there, but there's only 3 grandmasters. Let's see, time 14 and some change. Beautiful shot. Model's makeup is excellent. Her hair is excellent. Everything about this image is working. Correct shoe choice. Okay, a lot of times you'll see an image in a fashion magazine. Everything is right. If there's one thing they get wrong, is the shoe. They usually put some kind of crazy, wacky shoe on the model. It doesn't work. It doesn't match the clothing. But here, right, it's a proper shoe choice. Again, we talked about this, where the fashion designer has dressed her like a scarecrow. I mean, seriously, look at this. Even the hat. Everything about this image screams scarecrow. So I want you to think of this. You go to Saks Fifth Avenue and you buy your clothes. You spend hundreds of dollars on this outfit. A woman spends hundreds of dollars on this at Saks. She's walking down the street. Do you think for a second she would want to be stopped and say, excuse me, ma'am, do you know you look like a scarecrow? Do you think a woman would want to hear that? That I spent probably close to $1,000, if not more. I spent $1,000 on this outfit for somebody to tell me I look like a scarecrow. You can go to a Goodwill store. You can go to a thrift store. And for $10, you can outfit yourself to look like a scarecrow for probably $10. So why would you go to Saks and spend $1,000 to dress yourself up like a scarecrow? So what the hell is Saks Fifth Avenue thinking when they put this in a fashion magazine? I can do this for $10 at a Goodwill store. Duh. Hello, Saks Fifth Avenue. Okay, you're tone deaf and you're completely out of touch with reality. Okay, so we're at 16 and change and going along. I'm starting to get on a soapbox here with all this ridiculousness. Sometimes these fashion magazines, they're just so out of touch with reality. These people, they must live in bubbles, man. They've got to be living in some type of a bubble, completely detached from reality. Who in the hell would put this in a fashion magazine? Seriously, how did this pass muster? Even the executives at Saks, surely they must be policing this and reviewing this and giving, right? There's probably a signature block. This must go through an approval process at Saks. These images, they should be, right? So you have marketing person sign off, a VP signing off. There's a chain. There's a chain of custody, right? Not a chain of custody, but a chain of approval who approves these advertisements. So you mean to tell me this shit got everybody's approval at Saks to run this? The first person who reviewed this should have said, absolutely not. It should not even received one signature, much less all the signatures on the form, right? And I know I'm getting along, and I'm, like I say, these people, right? You people, right? These people, they've got to be living in a bubble. And I actually knew a woman like this one. I knew a woman who was so insulated by her parents. She was completely clueless as to how real life worked. She was wealthy. She was raised wealthy. It was some distant family I have. And she was absolutely clueless as to how life really worked. She lived in a bubble that was provided by her parents, and she never had to step outside of the bubble. And I know I'm going really long on this, but bear with me. When you see this ridiculousness, it's the same person as my distant family member. It's got to be. Because who in their right mind would put some shit like this together and publish this? Right? It's got to be somebody who's been raised and living in a bubble and never had to deal with the real world. Okay, and I'm getting off this soapbox now, and I've kept you a long time. Thank you for your time. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you for part 3. Thank you.